Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, See Through the Script here, and today this video is for all the hip-hop artists out there, rappers in specific, and it's the year 2022, and hip-hop is truly bigger than ever. It has spanned across the globe and gone beyond international. Mind you, it's only been around since the 1970s. The game has seen rappers from worldwide step into the industry with big-name American artists and even breaking highly esteemed records. With that in mind, it's just inevitable that its influence would reach millions, if not billions, of young ears. Many of those who are influenced at a young age find themselves envisioning packed stadiums, millions of dollars from record sales, and then some. But the majority of the time, this is sadly not the case. I mean, to a young, developing mind programmed according to the westernized culture, or even globally, granted how far hip-hop has reached, it's a very enticing lifestyle. However, most young artists or outsiders in general are not aware of the grimy practices that occur behind the scenes. Many artists are at war with their record labels, begging to gain their masters back, i.e. their intellectual properties. So today, I'm going to be covering the very idea of a bad record deal, one in specific that is known as the 360 deal. A 360 deal, or a multi-right deal, is commonly used in the music industry to outline the legal relationship of an artist with a record label. The consensus is that the relationship between an artist and a record label intensifies due to that the latter shares all revenue streams of the former. The artist, on return, can expect help with production, both in capital and knowledge, promotion, and monetization of his or her craft. In other words, with a 360 deal, a record label takes a cut of merchandising, live performances, sponsorships, and any other revenue stream. The artist, on the other hand, can expect to be helped to become larger than what he or she would have been able to achieve on its own, at least in theory. Now that we got that out of the way, I'll preface this first slide by saying it's undoubtable that hip-hop got its roots from low-income black communities in America. That being said, hip-hop and rap artists that were initially getting signed in the genre were of African American descent. Knowing that, I found it very interesting that the derogatory N-word has the English Sumerian value of 360 in gematria. For those who are not familiar with gematria, it comes from Kabbalah, aka Jewish mysticism. It's a practice of assigning a number to each letter in the alphabet, meaning once you spell out a word or a phrase, you obtain a numerical value, at which you seek the hidden patterns within them. In English Sumerian, it applies Sumerian numerology, where they worked in increments of 6. Think about how it's mainly black men who are being signed to these 360 deals. Now, there might be some out there thinking, there's nothing wrong with this type of contractual agreement. However, as we go further throughout the video, you'll see how artists themselves who are signed to these deals have said otherwise. Now let's continue. When you sign a 360 contract, that means you now have a record deal, something many work years for, unknowing of what may come from it. Notice how record deal equals 59 alongside the words slave and Negro in gematria. Also, the music industry and artists have long referred to the music business as the game. And no, I'm not referring to the actual rapper named The Game. What's interesting is that in gematria, the game equals 59, similar to record deal, Negro, and slave. For those not aware, 59 is historically used on black people to shame them esoterically. And an interesting fact is that Black History Month so happens to end on the 59th day of the year on a non-leap year. And also, think about how to appreciate the African Americans, they provide them the shortest month throughout the year. Another interesting fact is, in gematria, when you spell out the phrase shortest month, it equals 59. Go figure. Moving on, when discussing 360 deals, it's impossible you don't mention the infamous Jewish American music executive, Lyor Cohen. Lyor Cohen in his younger days managed many legendary acts from Run DMC, Method Man, Lupe Fiasco, to current acts such as the Migos, Fetty Wap, you name it. Lyor Cohen has publicly credited himself to be the creator of the 360 deal model. So check this out. Whom is the founding father of the 360 deal? There are many different accounts to that, and there are different forms the deal has taken. Lee Marshall states that EMI conceptualized the model and disclosed it to the public somewhere in 2002, while Live Nation, a promoter, did the same with artists in 2007. Moreover, music executive Lyor Cohen has credited himself as the creator of the model, if not the most vocal executive to praise the model when he was an executive at Warner Music Group. What's interesting about Lyor Cohen is that in Gematria, his name holds the value of 115, 38, and 128, very similar to 360 deal written out in word form, having the value of 128, 380, and 115. The main difference being the 380 and the 38, with the rules of numerology, zeros are null, leaving us with 38. How fitting, the numbers matching the reality. Lyor goes on to explain, in defiance of 360 deals, we are reactivating the lost art of artist development. I really believe that. According to Lyor, having a 360 deal with artists allows a label to sign fewer acts to the roster, which means more time and energy can be invested into each person, so that it's only fair that the label also takes a percentage from additional revenue streams. Now, to further explain why one would not want to sign a 360 deal, look no further than Dame Dash, who worked closely alongside rapper Jay-Z. Dame Dash accredits Lyor Cohen to the damage that was done to Jay-Z's Rockefeller Records. I recommend watching this video just to get a better understanding of that specific scenario. Then you have the example of the superstar rapper hailing from Chicago, Lupe Fiasco, who had a major fallout with Lyor Cohen, even to the point where Lupe had fans rallying outside of Atlantic Records begging for him to release Lupe Fiasco's music. Again, this just goes to show the totalitarianism behind this contractual agreement referred to as a 360 deal. Now, for those who don't remember, one of the biggest artists to ever live at one point had the word slave written across his face. That very artist is Prince, and he explained in his response, Prince disavowed his own name in 1993, taking on the love symbol for identification and generally becoming labeled as the artist formerly known as Prince. The following year, he started writing the word slave on his face for performances, a bid to express how he felt about Warner Brothers. Notice in Gematria the words slave, 360 deal, and signed all equal 31. Interesting numerical matches, again fitting their reality. Now, a 360 deal is standard today. They take a fraction of all things artists use to keep, such as merch and touring. Just the same, the advance the artist is paid is not money they get to keep. It's there for artistic inspiration, but will be owed back to the label. The label invests an average of $2 million per artist. In the contract they sign, they agree to pay back all money invested on the terms of the label. This is how artists can go hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt due to their contracts. In essence, they become slaves of the industry. And again, just think about the numerical matches between the words slave, signed, and 360 deal, all equaling 31. Now, as we were discussing the man himself, Lyor Cohen, what I found interesting is that in Gematria, he has the numerical value in the 4-base ciphers of 38. And that's fascinating because he mainly works with rappers, and rapper equals 38. Now, people have their opinions and speculations on this man's involvement in the direction of hip hop. What's fascinating is that, hip hop in the modern day age for a while has talked about grimy subject matter being the environment that they came up from. However, it seems that it's been glamorizing that lifestyle more and more. And topics such as murder, death, killing, words like RIP always come out in these rap songs that end up being mainstream. Again, what's interesting is we have that phrase, sold my soul, and rappers typically are the ones saying that phrase. Notice how sold my soul equals 38, alongside all the other 38s that you can see. And who are they selling their soul to? Well, I mean, you could see that a lot of these artists were working with the man himself, Lyor Cohen, so that's something to question. But also notice that Gematria and Kabbalah have the 38 connections, and what we're looking into right now is a Kabbalistic practice called Gematria. Now, it wouldn't be right to close this video off without showing a few examples of the artists themselves spilling the beans on the industry and speaking out about their record deals. So let's take a look at a few of their social media posts that artists have put out over the time in relation to the topic.
Well, first of all, 10 million albums, and how can we be broke? It's kind of, I can't go into everything right now, but trust me, you can sell 10 million albums and be broke if you have greedy people behind you.
Turn it around so you don't sell 10 million albums and not be broke.
Stick together, learn from our mistakes, and, just, well, contracts and stuff is kind of hard to handle business when you're stuck in contracts that say certain things.
Way back in the day when I was younger, I heard a song from one of my favorite hip hop groups called Check the Rhymes from A Tribe Called Quest. And the song had a very interesting lyric that Q-Tip said, and it went like this.
Industry rule number 4080, record company people are shady.
So in conclusion, one can say hip-hop has changed drastically over the years, but one thing that hasn't changed is the crooked tactics of the labels. So to the aspiring artist out there, young or old, be sure to do your research, study the business, go the independent route, even if it may take you a little longer. I always believed greatness takes time. Choose your path wisely.
You got to places that you were trying to get to and you realized that it wasn't shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily places. At some point, you're going to get invited into a house. Mm-hmm. And the house is going to be broken down into certain rooms. Mm-hmm. And these rooms are designated by activities. Mm. So if you don't do the activities, you don't get in the room. Right? So like me, I smoke weed. You know, I don't do cocaine. So I'm never going to be allowed into the cocaine room.
I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? So there's some of these houses and parties I've been invited to, and you get there and you realize, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
I wanted to see, could I get invited and get in that hole? And then you get in that hole and realize, man, I don't do this shit.
Yeah.
I don't fuck around like this. You open the wrong room, though, you be like, oh, damn, bro, that's how you move? My bad, you know? And so, sometimes you think you want to be in these rooms with these people, and you get in the room and you realize it's not where you want to be or where you need to be. Sometimes people walk in them houses and be like, shit, I can't believe it took this long to get here. Where have you been? And it's really just up to, again, who it is you are and what you want out of this shit.
As the artist, it's the tool they use.
Yeah.
The music is the bait. Yep. And the young consumers are the prey. It's a cold game.
But anyways, y'all, I hope you enjoyed the video and possibly learned a thing or two. If so, be sure to support the boy by hitting the like button, leaving a comment, sharing, and most importantly, subscribing. Also, be sure to find my links in the description below. Peace and love. It's your boy Script. I'm out.